This could be something that was written and said upon the passage of yesterday's insanity, that they are proclaiming it to be some kind of a new Independence Day for America. Yesterday was a bad day for America, a bad day for Americans. Unless, of course, you're uber wealthy and Donald Trump's tax scam is going to benefit you. But if you're working poor, middle class, it's not going to impact you positively at all. In fact, the poorer you are, the more harmed you will be from it. Nearly 17 million people will lose their health insurance, and people don't really talk about what the impact of that is. Look, I had cancer, colon cancer in 2022, and luckily had health insurance. But if I hadn't, it already cost us tens of thousands of dollars with health insurance. I cannot imagine what financial ruin we would have faced hadn't we had health insurance. And people are going to be kicked off health insurance. And invariably, thousands of those people will get cancer, will get disease, will have illnesses that they will be bankrupted by. Lives will be ruined because of it. Retirement accounts will be drained because of it. Republicans are gleeful over this, which kind of leads me to this thing that I want to do here. I love doing videos no one's going to watch. This will be another one of them. So maybe share this video. But conservatism for a long time has been intellectually incurious, unable to grapple with the inconsistencies of some of the messaging surrounding what America is and what we stand for. And on July 4th, I thought it's no better time to highlight some of those inconsistencies that are not new. They've not just reared their ugly heads. Frederick Douglass in 1852, on July 5th, 1852, gave a speech that has been come to be known as his 4th of July speech. And he highlighted some of this hypocrisy and this inability to grapple with the things we claim we stand for and the ideals of America while not holding true to them. And then if I have time, maybe I'll go through and read a little bit of the Declaration of Independence, which I know it sounds dry, but it's really not. It does apply to today, to right now. This is one paragraph from Frederick Douglass's, I'm having a hard time talking today, Frederick Douglass's 4th of July address. Obviously, this is about the horrors of slavery while talking about liberty and freedom and all these what have become jingoistic terms, and maybe they were always jingoistic terms. But this applies to today. This is not just about the original sin of this nation, which was slavery. This is what he wrote or said. What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days in the year, the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham, your boasted liberty an unholy license, your national greatness, swelling vanity, your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciations of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence, your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy, a thin veil to cover up crimes which would disgrace a nation of savages. There is not a nation on earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. Again, this was about how an enslaved human being owned by another human being would perceive the raucous celebrations of our independence from the crown, talking about liberty and freedom from tyrants while being those same tyrants. And this inability to grapple with those inconsistencies continues today. This could be something that was written and said upon the passage of yesterday's insanity, that they are proclaiming it to be some kind of a new Independence Day for America, as Donald Trump grifts and profits off the presidency while kicking the most desperate and poor and hungry people off of programs meant and designed to help them. So listen, I'll read a little bit of this document that we talk about, that we celebrate on Independence Day, the 4th of July. This was written by Thomas Jefferson, one of the most inconsistent individuals of our founding period, owned hundreds of slaves, raped slaves, at least one that we know of, Sally Hemings. He had a love affair with Sally Hemings. You cannot consent when you are a slave, when you are property, when you are owned. And by virtue of not being able to consent, sex with someone who can't consent is rape. This is what Thomas Jefferson wrote. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights that are among these life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Are we in another moment where these words apply more? I'm going to skip down. The history of the present king is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He, meaning the king here, I'm just going to read a few of the injuries against the colonies that could be for today. These injuries could be stated as Donald Trump. So when I'm saying he, Thomas Jefferson obviously meant King George. I'm talking about Donald Trump. This was written in 1776. He has obstructed the administration of justice. He has made judges dependent on his will alone. Could be Donald Trump. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people. Masked secret police of Donald Trump. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. Donald Trump is deploying United States Marines to arrest civilians against the will of the governors of those states, California in this case. Declaration of Independence written in 1776. The same document the conservatives, oh, yes, freedom, liberty. Oh. He has affected to render the military independent and superior to civil power. We're not quite there, but we're well on the way. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfectly scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. Again, not quite there, but there are certainly mercenaries and government contractors that are being hired by ICE to go and harass the peoples in these United States. He has excited domestic insurrections among us. That one's pretty spot on, a little too on the nose that he has inspired, incited, encouraged insurrection against the United States of America. This was written in 1776. The words prior to that spoken by Frederick Douglass in 1852. And we continue to repeat the same mistakes year after year, decade after decade, generation after generation. While the right, these conservatives who want to act like we're the greatest country in the world, swelling pride. Again, unlikely this video is going to do gangbuster numbers, but let me tell you, this is important. Whatever the saying is about being doomed to repeat your history if you don't learn it. Here we are, folks. Here we are, being ruled by the same type of tyrant that our founders bemoaned.
But all of the things that we've given, and they wouldn't vote only because they hate Trump. But I hate them too, you know that? So it's...
Bring the temperature down, they say. 2 Democratic lawmakers were assassinated just days ago. 17 rounds were fired by a Trump supporter, murdering a wife and a husband. 2 Democrats, 2 leaders. Another couple was attempted assassination. They survived. A Trump supporter did this, while Republicans say, oh, the Democrats need to bring down the temperature. They need to ease down on the hate. They hate Donald Trump. Why would they hate Donald Trump? He's a patriot. Donald Trump yesterday at this 250 celebration rambled and lied and delivered his screed and anger and vitriol and hatred against Democrats on the heels of a successful assassination of people who didn't align with him politically. He's now talking about how much he hates Democrats. And I'm going to play the clip, and I want you to pay attention to the audience behind him. It is just unwashed, low information. Fox News, Newsmax, One American News just drivel these individuals behind him. Hooting, hollering, just, cannot get enough of Donald Trump's animated hatred toward a party that wants to help and lift up the oppressed. Disgusting. And the second clip I'm going to play is Monica Crowley, one of his ambassadors, who lays at Donald Trump's feet a worship service that would make even your most propagandistic North Korean news anchors blush. First, though, watch Donald Trump just pour his hatred and venom all over the crowd, and they love it.
I got to tell you, I want to thank Republican congressmen and women, because what they did is incredible last night, and the Senate, the Republican Senate. We got, not with all of the things we did with the tax cuts and rebuilding our military, not one Democrat voted for us. And I think we use it in the campaign that's coming up, the midterms, because we got to beat them. But all of the things that we've given, and they wouldn't vote only because they hate Trump. But I hate them too, you know that? So it's sort of, I really do, I hate them. I cannot stand them because I really believe they hate our country. You want to know the truth? But it kicks illegal aliens off of Medicaid and food stamps and allows us to hire 3,000 new Border Patrol agents and 10,000 new ICE agents, and they are great patriots, the Border Patrol and ICE, to carry out the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. And I don't like saying that. I don't like saying that, but we have a country. We have a country to run, and we have so many people coming in that shouldn't be here. And they did. They came in from prisons, and they came in from drugs and gangs and drug lords, the worst in the world. They came in from mental institutions. They emptied mental institutions into our wonderful country. And I know exactly what's going on in Iowa. You had some horrible crime in Iowa caused by illegal aliens, but we're getting them the hell out of here. We have no choice.
So he hates Democrats, and he's going to unleash upon this country 3,000 new Border Patrol agents and 10,000 new masked secret police in the form of ICE. That's what his big, beautiful bill did. Not only creating larger piles of money who rest upon already massive piles of money, helping the wealthy with his tax scam. He's also going to inflict his secret police on the country. Now I want you to listen to Monica Crowley, someone he named to be an ambassador, talk about the birth of new freedom that Donald Trump has inherited from our founders. He's inherited the spirit of our founding fathers. It's too much. Watch this and then let's talk about it on the other side.
A new birth of freedom is exactly what we are experiencing right now because our current president is a direct inheritor of the founders' heroic character. A profoundly brave man driven by the noble fight for American freedom, guided by the hand of God. From Washington, Adams, Jefferson, and Hamilton to Trump, the through lines of history are clear. President Trump is the heir to those greats who 250 years ago risked their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor for America. We are now in a moment in our history when, thanks to President Trump, we are turning the tide again, just as the revolutionary generation did. It is our time to take big risks to save our country. And it is our duty to honor our past generations and their staggering sacrifices for which we owe them a huge debt of gratitude. We are the natural successors to the Revolutionary War generation, fiercely independent, ruggedly individualist, faithful to God and country, with a white-hot love of liberty and the unique, enduring American spirit. It's been said, and I've studied history, so I know this argument well, it's been said that great civilizations tend not to last more than about 250 years. We have made it to year 249 with our big 250 coming up next year. This is an inflection point for the United States. We really do stand at a crossroads in history. As a nation, we could continue to slide into steady decline.
They know they're on camera. She's speaking into a microphone. She knows this will be preserved for our posterity. A new birth of freedom is exactly what we're experiencing right now. What, freedom from health insurance, Monica? Freedom from being able to go and live unmolested by the government? Is that the kind of freedom you're talking about? Freedom from an inexpensive education. Freedom from languishing in poverty in our elderly years. Is that the kind of freedom you're talking about, Monica Crowley? Because our current president is a direct inheritor of the founders' heroic character. She's talking about Trump here, a profoundly brave man driven by the noble fight for American freedom and guided by the hand of God. Who in the king's are you talking about, Monica? Donald Trump, a profoundly brave man, guided by the hand of God and driven by the noble fight for American freedom. This is parody. This is like a bad Saturday Night Live bit. Donald Trump is not profoundly brave. The word noble should not appear before or in and around his name. He is none of these things. He is an ostentatiously wealthy puke who rises every day with machinations of how to become richer, profiting off the presidency, violating the emoluments clause of the same Constitution to which he raised his right hand and swore an oath to. The same Constitution you swore an oath to, Monica Crowley. Beyond parody. Disgusting. The hypocrisy and the lies and the selling a bill of goods that just, who's buying it? I mean, other than these turds behind Donald Trump who squeal with delight at the prospect of mass deportation in a Nazi Germany-like roundup of our community members. Non-criminals. Look, I know we're in another period right now. I can tell by the lay of the land, just by as soon as that bill passed yesterday, people were checking out. There was dismay in the air, hanging heavy. Take a break. Reach out to somebody who needs to be uplifted, because we need everybody in the fight. Because the midterms are upon us, and now is the time to take back our country. We form a majority in the House of Representatives and a majority in the United States Senate, if as overwhelming a majority as we can come together with. And then we impeach and remove Donald Trump, forbidding him from office ever again. Now is the time.
You're not worried at all that Americans may lose their health care?
Oh, well, just some Americans that aren't Americans, and that is the illegals. Why should illegals be on Medicare?
If you were to go on like ChatGPT, I don't know if it does this, I don't use AI, but if you were to go on to some AI image creation software or program, and you were to say, hey, create for me an image of the most sycophantic, bootlicking, brown-nosing, yes man for Donald Trump that you could, this is the image that would be created, except this isn't AI. This is Troy Nehls with his Never Surrender shirt with an image of Donald Trump having just surrendered to the authorities during his arrest. His American flag bow tie, and just a shameless weirdo, Troy Nehls. Yesterday, when this bill that robbed 17 million Americans, or will rob 17 million Americans from their health insurance, and will be removing people from Medicaid and making work requirements around, all kind, just the damage. $300 billion taken away from food assistance programs that hungry children need to be nourished. And Troy Nehls was asked about this. You're not worried at all that Americans are going to lose their health insurance, huh? He said, well, not real Americans. I don't care about illegals who are on Medicaid. No illegals are on Medicaid. It's not a thing. But I want to demonstrate to you sycophancy in its purest, most evil form. And that's Troy Nehls, because not only did he say this, I got a couple of clips that I've had in reserve for months and months of him really just worshiping Donald Trump. If Donald Trump says jump and scratch your head, you do it, because Donald Trump is never wrong. Things he's literally said. Very sick that these people are in charge. Very sick that we continue to elect stupid people to high office. People who can't think on their own, who have to have Donald Trump tell them what to think, how to act, how to behave. It's very weird, very sick, very dangerous. Watch this from yesterday with Troy Nehls, for some reason, having both of his hands bandaged. Maybe Donald Trump had a bear trap inside of his asshole, so when Nehls got in there, like, I've been got. Who knows? Watch this.
Can I ask you, though, about the CBO score and the idea that 11 million, 12 million Americans may lose health insurance?
I don't have any faith and confidence in the CBO. They're scoring. They're wrong half the damn time. I don't give any. No,
so
I'm not worried about the CBO.
You're not worried at all that Americans may lose their health care?
Oh, well, just some Americans that aren't Americans, and that is the illegals. Why should illegals be on Medicare? Shouldn't have it. We did a great job with it all. We did a great job. I appreciate it. The American people spoke. The American people spoke, and the elected representatives spoke today. And what did we do? we supported and passed this one big, beautiful bill. So now you got to accept it and absorb it because it's the right thing to do for the American people.
Just some Americans that aren't Americans. What are you talking about? You cigar-chomping goober. Just a bootlick. Just a lapdog for Donald Trump. Here he is from a few months ago talking about jumping. When Donald Trump says jump 3 feet and scratch your head, that's what you do because when you're a bootlick, you gotta lap them boots.
There's no question he's the leader of our party. So now he's got a mission statement, his mission, and his goals and objectives, whatever that is, we need to embrace it. All of it. Every single word. If Donald Trump says jump 3 feet high and scratch your head, we all jump 3 feet high and scratch our heads. That's it.
Imagine being a grown adult with the responsibility of representing a constituency that elected you to high office. And then you supplant any agency you have with whatever Donald Trump says to do, abdicating your role as a member of a co-equal branch of government. Co-equal. Donald Trump is not above the Congress. He's not above Troy Nehls. He's not more important than any single member of Congress. He's just another cog in the machine of government. He is not government. He works for us, for we the people. And you would think Troy Nehls would understand this. He's very proud, in his ass kiss photo here. He's very proud of his service in the United States Army. He's wearing it like it's a badge of honor. He wants to project that to everyone. Hey, look at me, look at me. I served in the Army. So we know that he swore an oath then. And every subsequent time he's been elected to Congress, he swore again that same oath. Apparently it doesn't matter to him. Apparently he hasn't read the document to which he swore an oath. Here's another clip of him talking about if Donald Trump says tariffs work, that tariffs work, period. Donald Trump's never wrong, he says, because he's never wrong, he says, about Donald Trump.
Brain, and we need to take advantage of that. If Donald Trump says tariffs work, period. Because Donald Trump is really never wrong. Think about it. He's never wrong.
Look, I don't know. What have we done here? These are the people who have written and passed this bill. Not a single Democrat voted to rob 17 million people of health insurance. Not a single Democrat. Only 2 Republicans voted against this bill. Only 2. And the problem is that they are largely all just rich white men. The vast majority of Republicans in Congress are rich white men who will benefit from this tax bill. They are also dignity-free, shameless actors who just love to crawl up inside Donald Trump's butthole and get comfortable. It's gross. Yeah, it's gross. But it's what it is. These are bootlicking yes men. Shameless. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. I would be embarrassed, humiliated to act like this, to offer no criticism, no critique at all. Maybe I'm so recalcitrant, so resistant to this type of being. This is why I criticize Joe Biden when he needs it. I criticize Kamala Harris when she needs it, because I'm not a bootlicking sycophant. You're not going to catch me ass-licking politicians. Republicans, it's part of the job description, apparently. Anyway, what do you think? If you're represented by Troy Nehls, get it together. Get on the ground. Start organizing. Get rid of this fucking jerk-off. Electorally, obviously. Anyway, love and appreciate you. Would love your opinion on this. Comment below. Call the voicemail line. Leave me a fewer than 3-minute voicemail. Google will cut you off if you go over. 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.
We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this on the grounds of the White House.
Before I get started here, I have a specific message for one person. Paging Jake Tapper. paging Jake Tapper. Jake, where are you? Is your next book in the making? Are you furiously typing at your keyboard right now? Or is Alex Thompson getting the first draft ready about Donald Trump's cognitive problems and the Republican Party's lack of ability to face what those are? Is that what's happening, Jake? Please say that's what's happening, Jake. Jake! Donald Trump yesterday at this goofy rally, taxpayer-funded rally, not a campaign rally. You wouldn't think, I mean, you would obviously think it was otherwise because of the glut of Make America Great Again campaign gear being worn by everyone, the Fox News audience in the crowd behind him. Here is a clip of Donald Trump forgetting the very basics about a man he appointed to be the Interior Secretary of these United States, Doug Burgum, the former governor of the state of North Dakota. And Donald Trump, you can watch him in real time realizing the thing he said was wrong, that he forgot about Doug Burgum, that he says he was the governor of North Carolina. He relatively quickly corrects that. He also says that he's the energy secretary and realizes, oh shit, yeah, that's wrong. I'm kind of slipping away here. This is at the end of his speech. So, he's fatigued. He's an old man, brain kind of slipping away from him. And he realizes it in real time and starts to correct these things. He does a very poor job of it. But if you watch his eyes and his face, that's the tell. That he's scanning. It's the 30,000 yard stare where he's trying to figure out what the actual correct information is and then how to correct rhetorically the wrong things that he just said. The demented things that he just said. Watch this, but I also want you to listen. You've probably seen these clips online if you're on Blue Sky or on Twitter and you follow people who make these clips. But these things happen right in succession, him forgetting and then also launching into his thing about how the White House, in an idiocracy like art imitating life, life imitating art kind of a moment, that they're going to be hosting a UFC fight at the White House where 25,000 people are going to be spectators. What? All of this happened inside of 2 minutes. We're in trouble, folks. Watch this.
And that's really something, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. That's a terrible situation. Likewise, under the leadership of Secretary Burgum, who's here right now, he was a great governor of North Carolina. Great governor of North Dakota. Where is he? Where is he? Mr. Secretary. And he's in charge of energy plus a lot of land. He's the biggest landlord, I guess, in the world. But he was a great governor of North Dakota, and he was very special in so many ways. He became an energy expert, and he came to me, and I said, I want you to be the head of energy. He said, no, we have one man that's better than me, and that was Chris, right? And put him in charge, and we merged the two, and he's got all the land with all the oil, and the other one has all the expertise to get the oil out of the land. And Chris is doing great, and you're doing great, Doug, and I appreciate it. And say hello to Catherine and everybody. You're doing a great job. We have a great cabinet. So every one of our national park, battlefields, and historic sites are going to have special events in honor of America 250. And I even think we're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have, does anybody watch UFC, the great Dana White? We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little, we're not, Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. We're going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events. But the UFC fight's going to be a big deal too. And
again, paging Jake Tapper. Where are you, Jake? Alex Thompson, are you out there? Nothing to say about this. The media will largely ignore this moment just like they ignore just about every gaffe that Donald Trump has now. And it's not because, well, it's just the norm. It's not news anymore that Donald Trump is cognitively unable to do the job. It's not news anymore that they're going to host an ultimate fighting championship at the White House. So they don't report it. Doug Burgum, again, was the governor of North Dakota. He's not in any way, he's not even in the top 10 of the largest landowners in the world at all. What? And he's the Interior Secretary, not the Energy Secretary. Donald Trump is losing it. And unfortunately, in a normal situation, when a president would be losing it this much, this quickly, the decline is this steep, this quickly, there would be a backstop. There would be people in place to stop it from happening, to intervene. We don't have that because Donald Trump is surrounded by bootlickers. Donald Trump is surrounded by people who just tell him yes. Again, two Republicans voted against the spending bill that went through yesterday that will saddle us with trillions of dollars in debt. Trillions. Thousands of billions of dollars added to the national debt in peacetime and in times of prosperity. The job numbers have already come in that Joe Biden had 48 consecutive months of job growth. Donald Trump, as soon as he gets on the job, he pisses that away. Shitting on the legacy and the accomplishments of the previous president. That the media joined in on that. Again, paging Jake fucking Tapper. But they've been bamboozled, they've been conned, they've been scammed into believing that this tax bill that just passed is going to make them rich. With each and every win that Donald Trump chalks up, yesterday was a big one. This tax bill that will enrich rich people and make poor people even poorer, robbing them of health insurance, adding 10,000 new secret police, masked ICE agents and contractors, mercenaries, to the streets of the United States in an effort to do the Nazi Germany roundup of people who live here. And remember, he's trying to denaturalize citizens, and he's talking about deporting American-born citizens. This is all happening in 2025. This is a replay of the previous century. And Donald Trump, with every win, gets more emboldened with his nonsense. Donald Trump yesterday talked to a crowd of ostensibly regular Americans, poor people, middle class at the very most, the people behind him, right? These are not people who are just luxuriating in great wealth. I mean, after all, they're going to a Trump rally and hooting and hollering, whippity-doo behind Donald Trump while he screams lies into a microphone. And Donald Trump waxed idiot about the estate tax, what the Republicans call the death tax. And before, I always debate with myself before I start talking about something. How should I do this? Should I play the clip first and then talk about what the estate tax actually is? Or should we do it the opposite way? And I'm going to do it the opposite way. Here's what the estate tax is. So all of these people that you're going to watch after I tell you when Donald Trump's talking about it, these people, it doesn't apply to them. It doesn't apply to you. It's like 0.25% of people this would apply to, the estate tax. It doesn't apply to me. It will never apply to me. I will never have the kind of money that it would take to have the estate tax apply, right? So this is the estate tax. Exemption amount in 2025. For individuals dying in 2025, the federal estate tax exemption is $14 million. Meaning, if you're single and you die and you want to leave your estate to a loved one or whoever, if it's under $14 million, there's no estate tax. And if you're a couple, it's $28 million. It's 14 times 2. So if you and your spouse have $27 million that you want to leave to your kids, It's fine. However, if you are part of that 0.25% or whatever scant number it is, and you want to give 30 million, that first 28 million isn't taxed, and only the 2% is taxed. Only the 2 million, the extra on top of the 28 million, right? And it's just ridiculous. So that's the lay of the land. I'm hearing YouTube videos being clicked off all over the world. But here's Donald Trump talk about this. And knowing what you know now, armed with that information that you now have, watch the crowd behind him just propelled into an excited glee about the fact that they won't have to pay estate tax when they give their massive wealth to their kids. It's beyond parody. Watch this.
And very importantly for Iowa, this bill rescues over 2 million family farms from the so-called estate tax or the death tax. In other words, before Trump, you were losing farms to the banks. Before Trump, you were losing the farms like nobody's ever seen before. You love your children. You don't feel so well. You pass away. You leave everything to your children, and they have to pay a big estate tax or a death tax, as we call it. And they couldn't do it. They go out and borrow money, and all of a sudden the bank is foreclosing on the farm. Not going to happen. You have no more estate tax. You have no more death tax to pay. Now, that's if you love your children. If you don't love your children, it doesn't matter. Just forget about what I said. It's not going to help you. But if you love them, or if you love somebody that you're leaving it to, think of that. No death tax, no estate tax, no going to the banks and borrowing from, in some cases, a fine banker, and in some cases, Shylocks and bad people. But they took away a lot of family. They destroyed a lot of families. But we did the opposite. So just remember, to me, it's so important. And it was mostly important for places like we're at right now. It's really, I'm so proud of it.
A little gross anti-Semitism tossed in there for good measure. Where's the ADL where's Joel Greenblatt when you need him to say, oh, this is no good. They love fascism. As soon as Israel started the genocide against the Palestinian people, the ADL kind of changed gears, started supporting Donald Trump. Pretty gross. Shylock, by the way, was a character in, I think, The Merchant of Venice, some Shakespeare play. And it has long been used as an anti-Semitic weapon against the Jewish people. About the money lenders, it seriously is just a Christian weapon against the Jews, because in Scripture, charging interest is abominable, or it's a sin. It's against the law for God of God. Christians believe this. That's why a lot of fundamentalist Christians don't have credit cards and shit, right? But Donald Trump, apparently it's A-OK for him to use the term Shylock when talking about bad bankers and others or whatever, while lying about the estate tax, while his crowd of low information rubes behind him acts like they've been liberated from the estate tax that will never apply to them because they're going to die poor just like they lived. But they've been bamboozled, they've been conned, they've been scammed into believing that this tax bill that just passed is going to make them rich, is going to extricate them from the tyranny of taxation or whatever nonsense gets peddled by Republicans on a daily basis. Anyway, whatever. Happy Independence Day, everybody. What do you think? I invite you to this conversation. We can have it in the comments below. That'll help the algorithm to share this content with new possible subscribers. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. If you want to help support this work, there's a number of different ways. You can become a channel member for $2 a month. Click the join button below. You can go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtAPodcast. You can go to Dollemore.com. We sell merch, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, totes, all kinds of stuff. I think there's even leggings on Dollemore.com. But also, we're selling a book about gratitude. It's a children's book for adults, and it's an adult book for children. Seriously, it is for everybody. It would make a great gift for you as an adult to give to your parents, thanking them for all the things that we so often take for granted. It's called The Grateful Child. It's illustrated by an audience member of this program and written by my lifelong best friend since the 80s. That's how long our friendship has lasted. Anyway, I would appreciate your support. Every little bit goes a long way. I love and appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. And here, we'll just put this. Here's a little bit about the book. Many of you are aware that my dear friend and brother of choice, not of blood, Brett McAfee, suffered a near fatal medical emergency last summer while our families were on vacation in Scotland. I appreciate to no end the outpouring of support for Brett that you all gave. And I'm also very happy to report that he is safe and healing and working that long path of recovery. What I've probably not told you about Brett is that beyond being an excellent friend, he's also a talented writer. We have been the best of friends since we were kids, and I have been continually inspired by his creativity and by the truly singular take that he has on life. Over 2 decades ago, he wrote a poem called The Grateful Child. It's an acknowledgement of all the simple strengths that we tend to overlook. Written from the perspective of a young person, multiple grateful children express gratitude to their parents for the elements that make them who they are. The accounting of these everyday gifts inspires a clear reminder that we should not take anything for granted. I've shared Brett's remarkable poem with numerous people over the years, and a reoccurring response is that this should be a book. Well, we finally decided to listen to those people. The Grateful Child is not only a children's book for adults in your life, it's also an adult's book for children in your life. Everyone will appreciate its straightforward yet elegant celebration of life's little endowments. Click the link below to pre-order now, or simply scan this QR code and order your copy or copies today. But this being an illustrated book, we could not survive on the words alone. To pair with Brett's touching words, we searched all over for an illustrator who could bring The Grateful Child to visual life. We landed on somebody right here in the community from this show. Leah Farshid is an internationally acclaimed illustrator who, like you, is also an audience member. The moment we saw the first images that Leah drew to accompany Brett's text, we knew we had a perfect combination. It brings me tremendous joy to share my best friend's beautiful poem and Leah's spectacular images with the world. Everyone can benefit from The Grateful Child, just as I benefit from Brett's lifelong friendship. Share this beautiful book with your children. Share it with your parents or other relatives. The Grateful Child is an easy and exceptional way to show appreciation for someone in your life, young or old. Support someone you love and support this channel by giving The Grateful Child. Click the link below to pre-order now, or simply scan this QR code. I am pretty sure your children need a copy, and your mom, your nieces and your nephews, your Grandpa Charlie too. Don't forget Grandpa Charlie. I think he'd love this. Make The Grateful Child a part of your life. It has been such an excellent part of mine.